Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the discussion table on Moral Edge. I am here with Michal Weichbred, and I'm here with Michael Gerbitz, and we are discussing right now the miracles that are happening right now in the land. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news. Today, Soroka Hospital in Beersheba was bombed. It was a massive attack. It looked as if the whole entire block was gone. All you seen was smoke radiating from the sky, and my heart dropped. It literally melted. And then after that, the reports started coming out. And first things that surfaced were the pictures. So the pictures were there. The hospital looked almost as if it was completely destroyed. There were people running all over the place. But out of it, at least reports, early reports right now are sharing with us that there's only been one person who was a patient has been lightly injured. These are what we call the miracles of God happening in Eretz Israel. Now, we expected a way worse retaliation than what we've been experiencing so far. As I was told earlier today from Hillel Fold, who wanted to give me groundbreaking statistics, that 400 ballistic missiles have entered into, had left Iran, and only 20 of them actually hit in Israel, and most of them, the overwhelming majority of them, landed in places where there's not populated. In addition to that, out of the 1,000 drones that they sent, he told me, that none of them made it into Israeli airspace. We are witnessing God's hovering cloud over Israel right now. And you would have to be either asleep, you have to be in complete denial not to see it today. Right, guys?
Absolutely. I mean, just living here, I guess you feel it a little bit more. I don't know, watching the news, it's a different story out of Israel. But here, living through these miracles, we all feel it. And we all feel this connection to each other because we're all going through it together. Literally like the splitting of the sea, where the Jews are all together and they all experienced as a unit a beautiful miracle. We all feel that this is bonding us together in a very deep way. And we see it, we feel it, we live it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's people outside of Israel, our family. I think they can appreciate the magnitude of the miracle, but to hear the booms, to feel the vibration.
Right.
You look out, so you wake up middle of the night to that horrifying sound of the phone making that alarm sound.
Right.
You run out, your heart kind of drops, but you also kind of know you're so safe. And then you look out and you just see boom, boom, and the house is vibrating, and to feel that. And to also realize that, like, you're so safe at the same time. The thank God, so few people. Every life is precious, but the amount of people that were hurt or killed in no country in human history besides for Japan. When they were bombed, I don't think anyone's been attacked by missiles of this magnitude. I mean, even when they were dropping missiles during World War II,
Right.
those were little bombs.
Right.
These are school
Right.
buses filled with just unlimited amounts of just giant warheads. It's unbelievable. And when you hear those booms, you feel this vibration. It takes that sense of miracle to a level that people cannot fathom.
Right.
Almost like experiencing, it's every aspect of experiencing the redemption in this land. The Jews outside of Israel, they might be seeing what's happening, they might be appreciating Jews returning. But when you're here, when you're at the Kotel, and you see, especially on the holidays, when you see hundreds of thousands of people by Birkat Kohanim, the blessing of the priests, and they gather in, and you can't even move, and you're like, wow, this is the gathering of the exiles, and you can see that in a picture.
Right.
But I think everyone can appreciate.
Right,
Picture does nothing compared to feeling it and seeing.
We were told in 1967, I was just a little baby, and I wasn't here. But the feeling of people also experiencing those miracles, reclaiming the old city of Jerusalem, the Kotel, the Temple Mount, was that majestic feeling of literally God is doing miracles right in our midst. And some of the most secular, non-religious soldiers became the biggest believers just because they saw it with their very eyes. And I feel the same thing is happening now, whether you're religious, whether you're secular, we're all together witnessing miracles. And people that would never really talk about miracles before, people that aren't necessarily religious or biblical, they're all talking about miracles. The news media here in Israel is talking about miracles. That itself is a miracle. That the secular Jews and the media here are referring to these miracles as miracles.
Right.
So it's unfathomable. I mean, it's an unprecedented attack, like you said. Never in the history of the world were there so many dangerous, massive missile fight against any country, and never in the history of the world was there a miraculous saving of a nation since perhaps the times of Egypt or the times of Purim or throughout biblical history. But this is just unprecedented.
It really is. It really is. And what makes me think is that, experts right now are saying that on this particular war, right, that they will be studying this for a long time, what took place. And the reason why that's interesting is because they're still trying to study the 6-Day War, and they're still trying to study the Yom Kippur War, and they're busy with the beeper attacks. I mean, like, at what point do we really say that this whole entire place is only thriving and it's a miracle? If anybody knows, and I'm not trying to throw any shade, driving down the street here to get home, that's a miracle. It's a place that, as the Bible itself says, that devours its inhabitants. There's one negative connotation, but there's also another place. It's a place where a person comes in and you literally feel like you're at home. When these attacks are saying, just like Michael said, all the family together huddled, and there's, we have some, now extended family who don't actually have a bomb shelter, so they're there, and it becomes the greatest sleepover ever.
We don't have a legal bomb shelter. Can we come over to? Yeah,
I don't know. You're like 13 people. I don't know if I have enough room for you, but
now most of them are married. It's okay.
But I mean, this has been it's been a learning experience. One of the things that it definitely has done, I know for me, myself, and for my family, has definitely increased our real ability, in which I think where we really lack. And I'm not saying everybody, some people can have it better than others, but is thanking Hashem. Really, Hodu Lashem Kitov Kilalam Hasdel. Thank you, Hashem, for your mercy endures forever. And what we're seeing right now is the extension of God's hand, right? And we may have our own thoughts about where we stand as a nation, but God is showing us right now that I have never left my nachal, my inheritance. I haven't left you. So we're experiencing that. This is Israel every day. Yeah, we're living in miracles.
And I think, to me, the most fascinating miracle is that the Mossad was able to build a drone factory in the middle of Tehran.
Right.
I mean, what? Never mind that there are Mossad agents. We always know the Mossad is around in Iran, and they have a big presence there. But to actually manufacture weapons for Israel inside of the capital of Iran,
right.
And not only that, they use them to knock out all the anti-aircraft batteries. That's
right.
why the Israeli Air Force now, they control the skies of Iran. What could you imagine? If you would have said that, what are we in this now? Day number 6? Let's go back 7 days. If someone would have said to you in in 1 day, right? Mm-hmm. The Israeli Air Force is going to be controlling the skies over Iran. What would you say? You'd say, how much am I? If it wasn't Shabbos Kiddush time, you'd say, I'm just drinking too much during the week. I mean, nobody would believe such a thing.
Nobody would believe it.
I mean, I don't even believe it now, but it's true. Yeah. That's
Right.
People need to recognize how much the hand of God is at play. When people, the IDF is so great. They're so the beeper operation. Right. It's this, it's that. I bet you, when you look in the Bible, you have like the great story of King Chizkiyahu. How do you say it?
Hezekiah. Yeah.
And when the whole Assyrian army died over one night, mm-hmm. The Torah talks about it as being this unbelievable miracle. I bet you 75% of the Jews, not to say anything negative, but just human psychology, they drank the water probably, which was polluted, and they all died. I think the Roman Empire died because of lead poisoning,
right?
Because I'm a plumber, so you can't have lead in metal nowadays because it's poisonous. The Romans actually invented, for the most part, plumbing, mm-hmm. and they had all the water flowing through metal pipes, and they died of lead poisoning. That was the fall of the Roman Empire. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the same thing. They probably had got some disease, some fever. They all died, and everyone was like, "Wow!" Some people were probably saying the hand of God, and other people were just saying it was some natural occurrence. Yeah, it was from Hashem, it was from God, but it was. You have to recognize the IDF. Not to put them down. They're doing amazing work. 100% the hand of God. Every bit of it. Absolutely. They're a messenger. The IDF is a messenger, and we love them and we appreciate them. But all credit goes to God. God is performing every bit of the miracle.
Now, there's a real similarity here with the Hanukkah story, right? The many in the hands of the few, the strong in the hands of the weak.
Mm-hmm.
How many people in Iran? What is the population of Iran?
92 million.
Right. How many Jews are in Israel? You guys know that one. It's pretty
That's 9 million, 7 million.
No, it's 7.
No.
7.2.
No, 10 million. It's including
Jews?
No, I didn't say Jews.
Oh,
I said
population.
how many-
Population.
10
Okay,
million.
population.
I always think in regards to
10
yeah.
million? So, we talk about the few, the many in the hands of the few, whatever it goes, you know what I mean.
Right.
A nation of 10 million people is destroying a nation, or I shouldn't say destroying, is controlling, overpowering, and we're going to let them have their own freedom, finally. A nation of 92 million people. I mean,
Right.
That's not taking into account all the wars that Israel is currently fighting while doing
While
it. It's
doing
not like
it.
it's us versus Iran.
Right.
We're also, and not just the wars that we're fighting, it's how much we're protecting. Egypt,
Right.
Jordan, these people are
Right.
itching to get involved.
Right, right.
Syria,
look
don't
what
think for a
happened in
second they're our
Syria.
allies.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
our allies.
We have no real
Syria,
allies.
you talk about Sanchev, the people dropping. Syria fell like nothing, just
Yeah.
overnight. It
Right.
fell. Syria
Right.
was one of our worst enemies.
Right.
The new leader of Syria, don't underestimate. He's from ISIS. He's
Right.
from ISIS.
We know,
He
right.
wants to
ISIS,
crush.
okay,
He puts on a suit. He wants to crush Israel. There's no question about it. There's no question he's petrified. He sees
Right.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a little smarter than the other terrorists. I think he sees what's happening, and he'd
that's
rather
al-
wait this one out.
That's also a reenaction of biblical history. When the Jews crossed the Yam Suf, the nation saw and feared us. They recognized
the Red
that
Sea, right.
God is doing something.
what's happening right now.
Hello, world, wake up! Right? It's the same thing. It's history
It's
repeating
over and
itself.
over and over again. I compared it to David and Goliath.
Yeah.
You have David. He takes one little slingshot. He does. But what was the result? The result is, and this is what I'm touching on the point that you said about Syria and all the other people in the region right now who are petrified. Not only are they petrified because Israel's dominance in the greatness, it was the intelligence. Nobody knows who to trust in their own cabinet right now. Nobody knows in their own regime who they can actually trust when they're able to see that the Israelis have infiltrated this. The beepers, everybody were already on. I was scared to answer my phone, right? So, and I know I didn't do anything, right? So we saw that, and then now it's like the whole entire region. So what happens after King David slays Goliath? What happens? All the Philistines, they start running. And then the Jews go after and they chase them and they pursue them. You have the same thing. You have Jonathan.
Samson also.
But also Jonathan came. There were about, I think it was maybe 30,000. I can't remember what it was. And that times it's a biblical story. And all he had was his sword carrier.
Yeah.
That was all he had. But the way that Hashem orchestrated it, they thought that they were being surrounded. They thought they were being attacked. It was 2 people. They chased 30,000. We're looking at a monumental, like there's nothing like this going on anywhere else in the world. But this goes to show, and this is for all of those who believe in Israel, who believe in the God of Israel, that he is alive. He neither sleeps nor slumbers, neither slumbers nor sleeps. Right now, he is moving and he's here. And if you haven't recognized this yet, I'm sorry, you may need therapy. Somebody may need to come and help you out because God is very, very much so involved in proving that he is still alive and well today.